Okay, so this is a Peugeot 508 with THP 163 turbocharged engine. So this is actually the one I fixed the overheating issue the other day, last Sunday, which was what was it? I forgot it. Anyway, so today, Saturday, I'll be changing the head gasket, because I realized that somewhere the owner, it wasn't the owner anyway, or someone else that did it. He gave the vehicle to someone else, and the car had overheating issues, so they changed the head gasket. Instead of putting the normal metal original one, they put those pepper one. So I told him we have to put it back. So after fixing the overheating issue about 7 days ago, so he decided, so he told me that eventually he's going to give me the vehicle to remove, even though the car is not overheating, but he want me to remove and put the proper head gasket, so that which is the right thing to do. So that's what I'll be doing with my team on the car. So we are going to change. Hold on. So this is the engine. So we'll be changing, removing the cylinder head. I also use that opportunity and change the valve stem cells, and change the head gasket and put the proper metal original one. And we'll be removing the radiator as well, because whatever that blocked this, remember this coolant line was blocked, so eventually I had it opened and it became free again. So but whatever blocked it will still be in the radiator, so it's better to have everything removed. So I'm going to remove the radiator, open it up, there's a technician that does it for me, open it and wash it thoroughly inside, seal it back, and that's all. So hopefully we'll be able to conclude it in a day or two. So we'll keep you guys updated. I don't think there's any other thing to be done. These are the major issues: head gasket, valve stem cells, to if he's having an oil shortage issue, which I actually asked the owner. He said, well, it appears to be fair. Of course, this engine is known for oil consumption, normal circumstances, but so I said, let me just have it changed. I don't think they've changed it ever since he purchased the vehicle, so I'm going to have it done. Change the valve stem cells, and then once they'll put it back. Hopefully that's the only thing we'll have to do. Okay, so this is the update on the Peugeot 508 W2, that the Facelifted 508, which is 2014, either 2014 or 2016 model. No, 2014. So of course we changed the head gasket. So I wanted to show you guys the parts we replaced. So of course this is the main work we did, which was why I took the vehicle. So change the head gasket. This is the pepper one, the inferior one that they put earlier. So put it back. So what is there now is the recommended metal one, which is also the recommended thickness, because those pepper ones are usually thicker than the recommended. Then why on it? So the owner actually complained that the coolant, he does stop. Before now, he used to top up coolant every once in a while. So I started to check the thermostat housing in the process. So you can see this is old thermostat housing. So luckily, because he uses coolant, you can see the color here. This is red from here, so it shows it's actually leaking from here. So I had to buy new thermostat housing and have it replaced. So that should take care of the leakage or coolant shortage. So hopefully we won't have to be topping up water in coolant anymore. So that is for the thermostat housing. Okay, this is the engine mount, the upper engine mount. The one there was broken, so I had to buy a new one. This is the valve stem seals. The old one is oily. I not really want to stain my eyes, but just I will show him. Of course, he will throw them away. So that's the old one. From the look of the valves, those seals, I'm not sure they ever change it on this car. So that should take care of oil burn. So while on it, so I checked the air filter. I noticed that it was very dirty, very dirty. So it was so dirty that cleaning it at that point wasn't even the option. So I decided to get a new one. One thing about this air filter, especially for turbocharged engine, if your air filter is blocked or very dirty, it's going to affect the turbocharger. In fact, most time you makes it the turbocharger to start burning oil, pushing oil out into the intercooler. So it's always good to have it sorted out. So if you use a turbocharged engine, Peugeot or any other this thing, it is a priority to make sure your oil, your air filters are always very clean. That should be a very big priority. Then let me just also check the cooling filter. So when I checked, and I saw that the one they even put was the wrong one. They changed it sometime. I think this is made for a Japanese vehicle. It wasn't long enough. Supposed to this what they put was too short. So was even bringing in dirt or dust into the vehicle. So I had to order the recommended one, which is longer than this one. So that's what I changed. What else? I think that is all. Okay, so let's go to the engine. Okay, so what I also did was I removed the radiator. Took it to I have someone that washes the radiator for me. So took it there myself, and the person removed the lower cover of the radiator. Those like this upper part, the one under, because this one they've opened it before, so I decided to not to touch it, to try from the other end they've not touched before. So because reason why I did it was at the time this hose was blocked, and in fact at this point there were a lot of gunks inside it, at the point that before coolant started flowing out I had to put stuff inside to take out some of those guns that were blocking the hose and blow to the coolant tank before fluid could come out here. So I decided I want to believe those things might still be trapped inside the radiator. So I have it removed, washed thoroughly, and sealed back. So mounted everything back, of course, myself and my team. So so this is like the whole of yesterday I used the vehicle. However, I noticed one issue. There was no turbo power. So when I scanned the vehicle, it showed me this P0299 error code. So I suspected it has to come from that turbo regulation boost regulation solenoid, which is behind the intake manifold. So anyway, because I didn't have time at that time, so I bought the car last night. I brought the car home, and so what I did was I had to, to assess that solenoid. It's actually under the intake manifold. I have to remove all these things you see here. Remove the intake manifold, and now checked, and now saw that there are 3 small hoses connected to the that solenoid, then another one of those hoses goes to the vacuum tank, also under the intake manifold. So the problem was, I think the mechanic I work with wrongly connected the hose that comes from the solenoid to the vacuum tank, connected it wrongly on the vacuum tank. There are two holes on the vacuum tank. One of the holes brings hose connects to this brake vacuum pump. So what he now did is he took the hose and connected it to the vacuum tank for the one that is supposed to bring to the vacuum pump, and then took the one that is supposed to connect the vacuum pump to the vacuum tank to the vacuum pump, connected it to that solenoid, boost regulation solenoid. So I now reversed it, put everything back, and then engine power came back. Before the whole of that yesterday I was driving the car, there was basically no power. So I did it around 8 p.m. last night. So since then, took it for the drive, the power was fully back, cleared the fault, did it second drive, came back, the fault didn't come back. So that is sorted. And other few things, two more things to talk about. The one more, about 3 of the tires are highly deflected. They are under-inflected. So 3 of the tires, I believe they're about 3, because I used my tire pressure gauge to test. About 2 were very, very low. So I also believe from the look of this, the other 2, or one of them too, might be low. So I'm going to inflate them today while going out. And so the only thing remaining is, after we did all this job, change the air gasket, I noticed that when you start the car and your emotion, sometimes when you stop accelerating the car, it will give you oil pressure warning, engine oil pressure warning, which wasn't there at the time before we did the job. So I scanned the car. It first showed P15A1, which is a lubrication issue as well. I think there was a time I wanted that yesterday. I did for maybe like a 30-kilometer drive, scanned it. It showed it added another lubrication fault issue. That's P15A3. So that, which is about the regulation solenoid valve, oil's regulation solenoid valve. In that case, it could be one of those VVT solenoid, either the one on the oil pump, engine oil pump, on the one behind the cylinder head. Just has to be, but I want to drive it again today, so that this will make it the second day driving the car, to see if that solenoid one will come back. However, what happened was, when I spoke with the owner, he said that it's not actually a new fault. That the last time he changed the head gasket, when they put that pepper gasket, the wrong one, that warning actually came up, and so I think he said he used it like that for a while, and suddenly the fault went away, I think for some days or so. So that it's not like it's not new, because I thought it was new, because I knew I didn't experience it before we did the job. So I'm thinking probably because before I met the man, I think he was using the wrong engine oil for the engine. So probably the old oil must have harmed the oil pump, the oil, whatever I was using at that time, which was much thicker, was probably harmed the oil pump, I would suppose. So it means if you remove the cylinder head, put a new gasket, it will react to it for a while. That's what I think. So we'll see what happens anyway. So So I'll still use the car today. So after today, or if I may now return it and then do more research on that to see if it has to do with the oil pump or one of those solenoid. I don't want to start throwing in parts because the oil pump is not cheap. So I need to be sure that it's really oil pump before going there. So also research those two. I will buy the car, use it the whole of today, scan to know if that P1583 code will come back. If it comes back, then probably what first thing to do is to deal with those two solenoids. Just that one that is oil pump, can as well buy the oil pump if that is faulty, because it comes with the oil pump. Though you can buy it separately. So, but why buy separately when you may end up changing the pump? When you're buying the pump, you still have to buy it. So, worst case scenario, we'll first start with the upper VVT solenoid behind the cylinder head. If it continues, then we know maybe you just have to go to the oil pump. Other than that, but the thing is, only when you stop accelerating the vehicle that it will pop up, not all the time. The one immediately you touch the throttle pedal again, accelerate a little, the warning goes off and stays like that until you stop accelerating, which may only happen maybe once in a 50-kilometer drive or more, or it may not even happen in 2 other 50-kilometer drive. Next time you start the car, it's come up. So like he said it happened before. I wasn't the one that did the job, gave it to someone else, I suppose. And he experienced it, but according to him, the issue went away. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. And so I'm likely going to return the car after using the car today. I want to use it at least 2 days to be sure no other issue, that the cooling system, everything is working well. So I'll know what is now remaining is the other one. If it continues, of course, right now I'm running water in the cooling system. Engine cooling system. So he will also use it. I've spoken with him. He said he also wants to use, I shouldn't put coolant yet, which I always recommend to people, and I recommend that as well. So let him use the car for some days with water, so that once he confirms everything is working well, then can now drain the water and put coolant. You could see the advantage of coolant, how he showed immediately where the leakage was coming from on the what's it called, thermostat housing. If it was water, of course I know how you see it, but because it was coolant, it was very obvious that it was leaking from there. So, but letting you use water is always good when you do any work on the engine that you have to remove any of the component, and especially when you do a major work like on the engine cooling system, it's good to use water for a while. I'm not saying weeks, no, a few days or so, depending on the nature of the work done. To use it more than 5-7 days. Once you confirm everything is okay, then you can now introduce coolant. Because if you use coolant that fail immediately after coupling everything back, issue may arise and you lose all those coolants, and all the money will be wasted. Okay, so let's see, start the vehicle. Of course, if I start the car now, you're probably going to see a warning concerning the low pressure, the tires that are under-inflated. So you can see the one in here and the tachometer.
It's not surprising, because I remember when it happened to Manchester.
I don't know if the camera can see it. See that sign of tire, this thing. Okay, so all the gauges are okay, working normal. So I'm going to close the video, and so far everything is working. So we'll see how it goes. I probably won't do more any other video since I'll be returning the car today. So if there's any need to do an update, I'll do. But so far, don't think there's any other need. Maybe after I must have sorted out if eventually there's need to, if the oil pressure warning continues after the owner must have used the car for some days, and of course I will have to deal with those issues just like I explained, one after the other, starting with the list. Then or it could be something else that have nothing to do with the oil pump or the what's it called, oil pump, those solenoids controls the oil or regulates the oil. Let me use this opportunity to always advise people, stop using the wrong oil for your engine. It can create problem for you. You know, it's possible it was the wrong oil that I used for a long time, but that time that is affecting this. Maybe not, maybe something else, you know, but you never can tell. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Another one. All right. So I decided to continue update on this 508 facelifted model THP 163 liter engine. So I took the car back to the owner, but on the way I noticed that the temperature, the cooling system temperature, this one was although in motion it will maintain 90, but once I stop maybe in traffic, the temperature will start exceeding 90, start going higher than it should. So I knew something was wrong. So I got to the owner's place, decided let me use my system to run it to see what's going on. From the system, it didn't show anything concerning whatever the reason is that caused the temperature to be shooting up that high. Without AC, it will drop down back to 90 or even lower than 90, depending on the vehicle speed. But once I switch on AC, it starts shooting up when I get to a stop or something with the engine running. So first thing I decided to do was to test how was the fan. Of course, I checked the condenser to see if it was blocked. It wasn't sign of blocked. It wasn't dirty. So because I didn't bother to check any other cooling system component, because I just worked on the engine cooling system. So I decided, okay, let me use my system to see how the fan is working. Even though I know it was spinning, but it was only low speed. So I tested the low speed, it worked, and I tried the higher speed. Funny enough, the high speed just kept running on the low speed instead of increasing the speed of the fan. So that's how I knew the issue was the fan control module. Discussed with the owner, and we agreed that I'll go back to the car to have it fixed. You know, because what's the point? You want to have a car that the AC is working, yet you can't use the AC because the car will overheat. So I had to go back with the car, and so this is the part. This is the one I removed. So this is it, as you can see. So I had to go and buy this, is a fan control module. So once this thing is faulty, what usually happens is either the low speed will not work or the high speed will not work. And if the whole speed doesn't work, the AC will not work. But if the low speed work but the high speed doesn't work, the AC will work. But then, of course, the car will overheat if there is not enough, if you are not in motion or on a higher speed, because the low speed fan won't be able to handle the job. So I put another one, run the test, immediately it worked. So the AC issue, the cooling system issue, cooling system issue, yeah, so it's now working well, both the lower and high speed. So now back to, what's it called? Hold on, let me switch off this headlight. This torchlight, not headlight. So I can focus on this. So back to the I said, okay, let me see if I can tackle this oil pressure thing issue. So engine oil pressure issue. So now you can see from the scan the two codes here. This one show you turbo cooling, coolant pump control. I've already discussed that it works, but just like showing this fault. Anyway, I'll still talk to the owner. I know most time when you buy a new one in the market, open market, you'll be getting this code, even though it will be working, but this fault will be there. So, but when you buy new OEM, you won't get this. So it's something I'll discuss with the owner. So something he has to do later on, get OEM for him. Now this is the one that focus is when for those oil pressure issue. I see lubrication fault. You can see the reading here, oil pressure too low in mechanical mode. Okay, so I now remember the like I already mentioned, I was suspecting two solenoid that control oil supply to the camshaft diffuser, intake camshaft diffuser on the cylinder head. That's on the camshaft cylinder head, and then the solenoid that also regulates oil supply that is attached on the oil pump. So this one I did. Actually, all those one I didn't even remember which I've been doing before. That's the way you can tell from here which the one that is working or not. So let me show you. So I'm going to start the car now. Let's see the oil. You can see it here. This is the warning: engine oil pressure fault. Stop the vehicle. So but once you accelerate, it usually go off. Let's see. You see? Yeah. So I said, okay. Let me run my usual parameter test. From here, you know the one that is not working. So first thing I did was to test the solenoid, the oil. Normally you call it VVT solenoid, but in this case, let's just call it solenoid for that's oil supply regulation, oil supply solenoid for the intake camshaft diffuser. So from here, this PP2000, you can tell if it's working or not. So scroll down from the intake circuit option or folder, go down until you get to now look at it. That's the one I've highlighted. You can see it here. Inlet camshaft diffuser position. Oh, not this one, not this one. Hold on. You can see opening cycle ratio or the inlet camshaft diffuser solenoid valve. Now look at the value. You can see 40 is fluctuating, 46, 49. Look at the percentage. So now let's see. Now if I accelerate it, you see how it's going to move. What this means is it's showing you the value, more like the oil flow or per se. So let's see now. If I select it, you see how it's going to behave. You see, just shoot up to 61. You see, drop down, up and down. So you can see the values. 81, 49. So that rules out the solenoid, the oil supply solenoid to the camshaft diffuser on the cylinder head. Remember, this THP engine, THP 163, it has only one camshaft diffuser, so meaning it has only one solenoid on the cylinder head that supplies or regulates oil supply to the camshaft diffuser. When I talk about camshaft diffuser, it's more or less the camshaft sprocket. Okay, so now let's check the solenoid oil supply or oil regulation solenoid on the oil pump. So we scroll down to engine environment. So it's good to have PP2000, otherwise you won't understand all these things. So let's go down. Let's go down. See that these are where you can see how the sensors, components, all these things, they are working with the engine ECU or feeding the engine ECU feedback. Now you can see oil pump, solenoid valve, control reference value. Remember the other one is the inlet camshaft diffuser solenoid valve. So the value now you can see is 0, no movement, no value, nothing, no figure, you know. So of course it's supposed to be behaving like the initial one we checked. That's the one on the cylinder head or the intake camshaft diffuser. So let's accelerate to see whether it will change from 0 to something higher. You can see no movement. So meaning that the sensor, the solenoid is completely dead or disconnected, or probably it's not even there. Maybe somebody removed it and I don't know, but for what you can see, it's not there. Remember, there are some Nigerians that because the oil pump of this THP engine comes with that solenoid, so which costs more. So sometimes when they want to change it for their customer, instead of them to buy that factory one, they will go and buy the oil pump. There are some VTI or EPC's engine that don't come with that solenoid on the engine oil pump, so they will go and buy that one and put. So in that case, there won't be oil supply. Whatever that the solenoid is supposed to supply oil will not have it, and the solenoid won't be connected. Some even go and connect the solenoid, hang it somehow on the pump, but then still will not do what it's supposed to do, supply whatever it's supposed to supply. But in that case, you'll be seeing the value here, but then it's not actually connected to anything. So but as it is now, it's possible the normal thing is the pump is dead, completely dead. However, it could also be that it was disconnected somehow, or something happened to the connector, or it's absent on the oil pan inside the engine. So of course it's supposed to work with. So that's what we need to deal with. So I've discussed with the owner. So tomorrow I have to get the solenoid, test it, can test it off the vehicle before I even mount it to be sure it's working. Then we'll do another test from here to see if it's reading. So that is it. So it means the work continues. So that is one thing with me. When you give me your car to diagnose for you, I take my time, no rushing, one after the other, using the right tools, the ones I have, and I always strive to get more, so that is it for now, and at least we'll have a headway. So hopefully all the warnings, everything will be sorted out. Of course, the oil pump, the cooler, the turbocharger, electric water pump will still be showing, but that is for another day, since it's not it's not a critical issue, because it's working. Only that it's showing that it's faulty, but it's actually working. So, but like I said, if you are buying a new one in open market in Nigeria, most likely you are going to be seeing that fault, even though it's working. But I expect that you are most likely going to be seeing that warning fault, as if the water pump is not working, but it's working. So if you don't want to be seeing that fault when you are changing a third one, you have to buy OEM, or maybe a used one that that was not purchased brand new in open market. It's possible that maybe in future another brand may start coming in the open market that will work well, so that I won't be showing you that one. But for now, all the ones I've tried for people purchased, mounted, they'll be working, but then we'll be showing you that fault. Now, for those who don't know how, that we know, if you're not, those of us who are technical will know if when that pump is working or not. So I don't need a scan to tell me whether it's working or not, but I just wanted to point it out. Okay, so that is it for now. So the car is back to the workshop. So to remove the oil pump, oil regulation solenoid valve, which I talked about in the previous night. So as you can see, to remove the oil pan, the CV joint and the shaft has to be removed. So you can see the oil pan under. So this let me show you the oil pan. Okay. I don't know if you guys will be able to see from here. Okay, so this is the pump. This thing, that's the oil pump. So the solenoid is actually attached on the pump. The solenoid that failed, that showed on the diagnostic tool during the test, the live test. So I'll be removed by the team I work with. So this is solenoid here. So this one looks like the one on the oil pan, on the pump. So what I've done was I've used these wires, tested it. I had to cut open here, then somewhere here on the second wire. So I now tested it, positive and negative, and of course it was supposed to, hold on, so it was supposed to move. This solenoid is supposed to activate when I touch positive and negative here on these two wires on the battery terminal, but it wasn't making any sound. So that shows that it's dead. In fact, it was even sparking on the battery terminal, which doesn't look good. So it's completely dead. So I'm going to get another one. Use new, whichever one that, of course, before I put it, I also have to test, confirm it's good before I mount it. So yeah. So what my diagnostic tool showed me confirmed that this solenoid is bad. So if you have a THP engine or VTI engine and you're having this oil pressure warning, you can see how I was able to diagnose. Before even removing the oil pan, you can see how I was able to diagnose, which of them that is actually causing the oil pressure issue. Could be a lot of things: oil filter, oil pressure sensor, engine oil, the oil regulation solenoid behind the cylinder head, then the oil regulation solenoid valve, which is attached on the oil pump. So in this case, it's this one. Even the engines can actually do that if the crankshaft bearings are one or the camshaft bearings are one. Yeah, could give you the oil pressure issue or the oil pump. So, well, at least for now, this is the only one we know that is faulty. This car, so we have to put a good one and then see what happens. Hopefully, it won't show any other oil related pressure issue. So keep you updated. We finish coupling the engine. That is the oil pan. As you can see, put back that plastic underneath the engine. So I want to start the car. Now you can see I'm back on the live test. You can see the oil pump Solenoid valve control reference value. Now I can see it's showing 99, unlike when it was not working. So it's reading now. So let's start the engine, then we'll see how it's working.
Hanging out with the next 4 hours, and we're kicking off the show.
Hold on. Okay, so you can see the value is now changing. You see, 79, 80, and also unlike when it was dead, it was reading 0. Okay, so that has taken care of all the oil pump. Well, I'm not doing the car, but I believe this has been sorted out. The oil pressure one. So I'm going to deliver the car to the owner, and let's hope everything sorted. Okay, so that brings it to the end of the. At least now you can be able to diagnose yours if you have such issue. So this is the end of this diagnosis and repair of this 45.8 is THP. This is a prescription product. THP once especially without English. Okay, so that's the end.